name is Lawton, and I have a short story to share today. It's probably the only thing I put 100% into, and I was really happy with how it came out. It's called Cage. I sat as I always did, the metal bars reaching above my head as they had for many days. The days grew into weeks, the weeks into months, as I sat, stood, paced. I awaited the next storm. I resided in the forest most of the time, locked away within myself, as outside forces shook my refuge. For some time, I gave into the patterns of relentless attacks and constant chaos. Then one day, shafts of sunlight broke through the rooftop of trees, and a figure appeared in a clearing that had always been there. "Who are you?" I thought as he came closer. He was tall and distracted at first. Was he an angel? No, I realized. He seemed too guarded. He was like me, lost in this place. But what brought him here? He looked down at me, and I noticed a slight change in him as his eyes softened. I remember all the times after that he came to visit me. We would sit and talk as if we had met years ago. He approached my cage one day, seeming upset. When I asked him why, he told me he was tired of making the same mistakes and having people on his case all the time. I asked him what mistakes, but he changed the subject. "Why are you in that cage?" he asked me. "Can't you get out?" No, I mean, yes, I think so, but I don't know when to leave, if that makes sense. No, not exactly. The key is hanging in your reach. Why don't you grab it? I'm not ready to leave. A puzzled look came across his face. And anyhow, I don't deserve to. Why not? I hesitated. There were times when I would leave my cage for a while, to take a walk or sit in the trees, but before long I would suddenly find myself confined once again in the cold metal bars. "I'm not good enough to be anywhere but here. It's better if I stay," I said quietly. He stood there for a minute looking down at me as I sat with my arms around my knees. "Why can't you see what everyone else does?" he asked as he sat down next to the cage. "I'm afraid of what they see, I guess." "Listen," he started as he turned to face me. "Stop caring. You spend so much time worrying and listening to the wrong voice." "I'm sorry." "Why are you apologizing?" "I feel like I annoy you." I looked down to avoid his eyes. "Don't be sorry. I want you to always tell me these things. I want you to get better." He stood up and I watched him walk into the clearing, not long after the sun hid once again. I stood and walked in wide circles as thought came down to weigh on me. Then I looked up at the sky through the cage bars. The darkest clouds I'd ever seen started drifting menacingly overhead, black and blue like the color of bruises, sickly green and ash gray. At the first explosion of thunder, I felt my heart rate skyrocket as if it wanted to leave my chest. Maybe it did. Why would it stay just to be hushed and stifled? My senses became overwhelmed. The cannon shots of thunder, the blinding flashes of lightning, while I sat in my metal cage. What had I done to myself? My bones shook, my heart shivered. How much more could it take? A sense of impending doom swelled into rage and rage into pain, the kind that isn't identifiable right away, the inexplicable kind that enters as a splinter and wounds like a bullet, irrational pain that shouldn't have been let in at all. 1,400 thoughts pounded from within that cage until a scream slammed into my throat. As I held it in, every muscle surrounding this monstrous scream tensed. Bars of the cage around me seemed to shrink while I became lightheaded. I gasped for air as the roiling clouds produced rain. Lightning struck all around, branches smacked the ground, twigs came at me like claws as the raging wind gusted. It won't get worse, I thought as I closed my eyes. The rain will stop. The rain did not stop. I tasted salt in my mouth and opened my eyes as the rain flooded my little shelter. The cage, it was closing in on me. "Please, come back," I called to the friend I knew could help me. "I need help. I admitted, okay?" I choked on words as the water rose. He could not come this time. I collapsed in the cage as it floated in the rough waters. My forest was ash, nothing but storm-infested sea surrounded me for days, striking without warning. "God, please help," I cried up to the angry clouds. "You're the only one that can." I began to sink. I watched the clouds disappear as I entered my sea of emptiness. I saw nothing but water. I could no longer hold my breath with the relentless pounding of my heart. I saw nothing but darkness. I sat up in my cage. Trees lay all around me, broken and burned. an entire forest down with a blanket of dead leaves. Aching despair began to settle again, but then I saw a figure in the distance. He came from the same direction as before, the same clearing that used to be between the fairly healthy trees. He ran up to my cage and fell on his knees in front of it. Grabbing the bars, he looked at me and said, "It's time." I looked down for a few seconds and then looked back at his desperate face. "I know," I said, my throat raw. "You can't keep letting this happen. You can't go on like this. Please." His eyes pleaded with me more than words. I could go on, though, just a little longer. But I didn't want to anymore. I wanted more than anything to leave this place behind. I looked at the gold key hanging on the chain at the cage door. "Take it," he said. I reached my shaking hand to the door of the cage and picked up the key. It took a few minutes to steadily place the key in the lock and turn it. The lock clicked open, like the sound of a heavy gate being lifted. The door flew open and I stumbled to the ground. When I looked up, right before me was a red rose in full bloom. Among the ashes in the charcoal sky was a vibrant red and green sign of life. As I stood up, I felt wings unfold on my back. They were still stiff and wet from the storms. He went behind me and helped them come out all the way. My 6-foot wingspan of white feathers threaded with gold and silver caught the breeze as soon as they were expanded. He led me through the old clearing to an open valley. I looked back at him and he smiled. "Go." I took a running start and lifted off, weightless.